The American political story features leaders who are remembered for various reasons. Some are admired for their wartime leadership, others for major reforms, or for their ability to maintain national unity during periods of crisis. George Washington established the first precedents for the office. After leading the Continental Army during the American Revolution, he took the significant step of voluntarily leaving power after 2 terms, ensuring the young government would remain a republic. Decades later, Abraham Lincoln led the nation through the Civil War. He focused the powers of his office on preserving the Union during its most difficult internal crisis. Beyond his military leadership, Lincoln is recognized for ending slavery in the United States, a legacy that remains central to his historical standing. These early icons defined the survival and the moral baseline of the Republic, setting the stage for the leaders who followed. During the 1930s, Franklin D. Roosevelt faced the economic collapse of the Great Depression. His New Deal programs changed the role of the federal government in the American economy. Roosevelt's tenure soon intersected with global conflict. His leadership through World War II made him one of the most influential presidents in history. He followed the earlier example of Theodore Roosevelt, a president known for an energetic personality and progressive reforms. Theodore Roosevelt expanded the national park system and fought against corporate monopolies to protect the public interest. In the early 1960s, John F. Kennedy became a symbol of optimism and ambition. He is remembered for his charisma and his leadership during some of the most tense moments of the Cold War. This era required leaders capable of projecting national power and resilience as the United States took on a larger role on the world stage. Thomas Jefferson shaped the early 19th century as the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. As the 3rd president, he promoted democratic ideals that would guide the young nation's development. He also oversaw a major physical expansion of the country by negotiating the Louisiana Purchase. In the 1950s, Dwight D. Eisenhower brought a sense of stability to the nation. The former World War II general oversaw a period of economic growth and the construction of the interstate highway system. Ronald Reagan is recognized for his communication skills and the implementation of conservative policies during the 1980s. His supporters often credit him with pressuring the Soviet Union, contributing to the eventual conclusion of the Cold War. Whether expanding the nation's borders in the 1800s or defining its ideological stance in the 1900s, these presidents focused on establishing American boundaries. Barack Obama became the first African-American president in U.S. history, an election noted for its major symbolic impact. He is remembered for his calm public communication and for passing major healthcare reform during his time in office. Harry S. Truman also faced a critical historical moment, leading the country during the final stage of World War II and through the beginning of the Cold War. The presidency often forces leaders to navigate deep changes and make difficult decisions during periods of global transition. James Monroe oversaw a period of relative unity known as the Era of Good Feelings and issued the Monroe Doctrine to warn against European interference in the Americas. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, led the country through the War of 1812, testing the strength of the government he helped design. Andrew Jackson remains a controversial figure, yet he was extremely popular in his time as a leader who presented himself as a defender of the common citizen. Ulysses S. Grant moved from his role as a Civil War general to the presidency, where he worked to preserve the Union and combat organized racial violence after the war. For these 19th century leaders, greatness was defined by building the government's rules and fighting to enforce its laws across a growing nation. Calvin Coolidge is known for his quiet personality and a belief in limited government that coincided with the economic growth of the 1920s. Lyndon B. Johnson is remembered for major domestic reforms, including civil rights legislation and anti-poverty programs, though the Vietnam War continues to affect his legacy. Earlier in history, John Adams played a major role in securing American independence and establishing the country's first diplomatic relationships with European powers. Woodrow Wilson led the nation during World War I and promoted international cooperation through his proposal for the League of Nations. Bill Clinton is associated with the economic growth and budget surpluses of the 1990s, maintaining personal popularity throughout his tenure. Throughout every era, a president's historical standing is tied to their ability to manage domestic prosperity and international relations. As the timeline moves into the contemporary era, the responsibilities of the modern executive branch continue to evolve. Joe Biden's presidency has focused on infrastructure spending programs and the strengthening of international alliances during a period of global instability. These 20 presidents are admired for different reasons, from their leadership in war to shaping the economy or expanding civil rights. Despite their different eras, each of these figures holds a significant place in the American story. The American presidency remains a reflection of the nation's needs, and the legacies of these leaders continue to influence the country's identity.